Welcome to another episode of the Man or Nine podcast. Today, I am joined by my new friend, Jon Nelson.
Happy to be here.
And we've been talking about this for a while,
Yeah.
like doing the interview. Just like I was saying earlier, you set the new standard of what tattooers should be doing. I really do think you did that, and it's not a bad thing.
It's like everything besides tattooing.
But it's okay.
Right.
But it's like I've talked to you about it in the past, dude. Like when I first met you in Philly,
Yes.
and it was kind of like Cam came up to me with someone else that was working with you guys, and I was like, "Hey, what's up, man?" And I was like, I don't want to say starstruck, but I was like, "Oh, this those dudes," you know.
Yeah.
And they came up to me, talked to me, and then you came over later and we chatted, and it was really cool, man.
Yeah.
It's good to know that someone like yourself and who you are, you're totally chill. You're not like, I don't look at you as a rock star. You didn't come across to me as like this heavy, like, oh,
Arrogant.
I'm too arrogant.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying? You're fucking super cool, man. And I think you and me kind of clicked on a lot of things. But how'd you get started initially? Like, tell me about you.
Sure. Real quick before that, just because you brought up the Philly story.
Yeah.
It was funny because on my end, that was the first time we went out or
Sure.
like to a convention since we started doing the videos and like receiving the exposure. So that was kind of our like, okay, let's go out and see how this is hitting.
Yeah.
And I remember Cam came back and it was so fun to bring him because he's like kind of this young kid.
Yeah, he is.
So everything is so exciting.
Sure.
You know, so he comes back and he's like, I just met Ben Ochoa.
That's so crazy.
Right? Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's sick. And I remember like I was jealous that I wasn't there with him.
Yeah.
And I was like, where? Show me the booth. Because like I had no idea that this was like creating any influence or what the attention was or nothing. I was just home at the shop. This was like first time coming out. So we were trying to find you. And I remember I was so excited to meet you and thinking the same thing, like, whoa, this guy's down to earth. He cares about the art. He cares about family. His morals are intact. And like you and I were talking, and I remember you asked me about the attention.
Mhm.
You were like, how are you dealing with, all the attention like from this content? And I mean, it's stuck with me since, because you and I had this really nice talk about like treating it with respect.
Yes.
And being the best version of yourself and like always having time for people, whether like new or been in the industry forever.
Yeah.
And it really couldn't have come at a better time for me because that was kind of the beginning of like being out in the world from the attention. So it set this really nice tone for me and just kind of remembering to like keep that in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
So thank you for that conversation.
Yeah,
That was
no
really
way.
cool.
I mean, it was, like I said, it was awesome meeting you too. And because I've worked with some pretty heavy, like rock star tattooers.
Yeah.
And you, in my opinion, you are more popular than all of these guys. And you're just a regular dude. And I thought I appreciated that on my end of it. Like, oh, cool. He's just a dude.
Right.
And you were just chilling.
Yeah.
And then months later, we did the anime con.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun. And it's like, I remember all these people coming up to us like, oh, is that Jon? I was like, yes, you can go say hi to him. Like, cause it's like my friends would be like, is he in your booth? I'm like, yeah, dude. You just, but it's always like, it's really cool, man, to meet people like you that are holding down the industry. Cause I think that if you're not a staple already to the new age of tattooing, you're becoming that. Because I think that what you have done, you've shown tattooers that it's not all about being hardcore and you can have some fun.
Yeah.
And that's what you did. And I remember I started following you like before. I think you had already like started getting a rise, like you were like getting popular, but you started popping off a little bit after I followed you because I just saw some funny stuff and I reposted it.
Yeah.
And then you just blew up, man.
Right.
I mean, we were talking earlier, like it's super hard. Like you do a lot to keep up with all this stuff. And then you have a huge shop.
Right.
In the videos, I gotta say, where you record,
Yeah.
the shop looks huge.
Right. Right.
And then when I get there, I'm like, oh. And then you took me to the back, and I was like, holy crap, it is big. But
Right.
I didn't think it was gonna be that big.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I just think that it's cool to finally have you here and chat with you, because I think we're in the same industry, different kind of boats. You know what I mean?
What do you mean different boats?
Because you're on a trajectory that I'm not even on that trajectory. But it's like, I think we're on the same journey, just on different paths, I guess is the best way I could put it. But I admire your path. I think it's funny as hell. Like, I think that you're doing some cool stuff. And then I just had an artist come in here, tell me that they're watching your YouTube content. The more of like, well, you're like giving advice, or he told me he's been watching all your stuff, and I was, but that's what I'm telling you earlier. I can't even keep up with the content you're making, because you make so much of it sometimes. Yeah. And I try and really stay off of the internet. Like, I look at the funny stuff, or I'll go look you up or whatever, and then that's it. But it's cool to see that you're expanding. You're just growing, man, and I think that you're doing it right.
Thanks, man.
I think you're killing it. You're the definition of organic growth as a tattooer, because our exposure on Instagram, let's be real, is not there. At least for me, like, it's gone to crap, and everybody I know, it's like not the same anymore. You can't. I think there was a point where we could rely on Instagram to keep us busy. Yeah. And we can't no more.
The standards just become so high.
Yes.
You know, and to be honest, we're putting out maybe 3 times the amount of work right now for 70% of exposure that we used to. So I think everyone's feeling that. Yeah. And yeah, like you said, YouTube and like new things that we're doing. And that was only inspired because we were like, this is like trending downward. Yeah. You know, like, what can we do to grow? What new things can we provide? But yeah, it becomes not only a whole nother job, but maybe a whole separate team or business or just to produce that.
The idea of hiring people to become a team, because earlier I asked you, when you first started doing this stuff, it was mainly your phones, right? And you guys are just doing your thing.
Yeah. So when we first started, some of the younger people at the shop were encouraging me to put things on TikTok. You know, I don't think TikTok, it definitely wasn't as big then. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe 1 in 5 of my friends at the time were like on TikTok. Okay. And I didn't even know what to do. I go on there almost like the first time you went on Instagram, and it's like kind of just photography. You're like, I'm not really into this. Yeah. Similar concept. I saw people dancing. I saw just only trends. Yes. Really. And I was like, I don't want to do that, you know? We're in a shop. We're always making jokes and like comedy's involved, or we're watching stand up on the TV. I was like, maybe we can make funny stuff. Yeah. So I had just asked actually my assistant at the time, hey, could you just record me doing something really quick? Mm-hmm. And this was like my approach to our first video. I just said a couple lines. I think it was like he says like, oh, it must be so easy being a tattoo artist. You just sit there and draw all day. And then I think I just pause, and then like all these things pop up, like all the negatives about tattooing. Of course.
Oh, yes. And I remember this.
This is an old one.
Yes, yes.
And then I'm just like, yeah. You know, just kind of like brush them off. But it was so poorly edited. It was a terrible video, sure. You know? But it like got my point across. Yeah. And I think that's what the content's always been about, is like, I'm just trying to get a point across. Yeah. You know? So I let one of the younger guys create me a TikTok account and post it. And I didn't care about them posting it. I just wanted the video to like text some of my friends. Sure. Because I thought it was funny. And I got good response, almost like when you send a meme. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I like this. I'm going to make more. So I made a couple more, really just to send to my friends. And they'd be like, let me get it so I could post it. I'd be like, yeah, here. I'm busy sending it to my friends, you know? And they kind of came back and they were like, you're blowing up on the internet. Oh, damn. And I didn't know what that meant. I was like, I don't care. Go away. I was kind of annoyed with it. Yeah. And then like one of my apprentices came up and was like, "You're a meme on the internet."
Oh,
I didn't really know what that meant either,
Yeah.
honestly. But they kept like saying this, and I don't know if I didn't want to ask because I felt dumb for not knowing, but I grabbed someone and I was like, "Is this bad?" I think that's what I said. "Is this bad?" And they're like, "Yeah." Right? That was the answer.
whoa.
So I was like, "Oh no, like this is bad. I guess being a meme is bad. I guess all
I didn't know that.
these terms are bad." That's like what I'm being told.
Yeah.
So now I have to like investigate,
Okay.
So I'm like reaching out to like some of my friends that are my age, and they don't really understand it either. They're like, "Yeah, I see that you're like trending on Twitter." I'm like, "What does that mean?" I'm like, "What does that mean?" They're just saying these words that I've never heard before, and I'm like, I'm not getting any answers. So I just kind of like kept doing it, and I remember people like the younger guys are coming up, and they're like, "Bro, you just don't even care." And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess I don't care. I don't really understand what you're saying, bro. It's not affecting my real life."
Yes.
Like, I'm like, "You guys live in this internet life,
Yes.
and it has nothing to do with reality." And I was kind of like stuck on that. And I think where it changed for me was the assistant got an email and it said, "I found you on TikTok and I'd like to book an appointment with you."
Oh, dang.
And this is like, I think when I saw like the power of it, I was like, whoa, maybe this does affect real life.
Yeah.
And I really had them start like breaking down to me like what was occurring on the internet. Through doing so, like, I'm seeing comments, I'm seeing hashtags, I'm seeing reposts and all these things. And to be honest, pretty much like 100% of it was negative.
Yes.
So it didn't really feel good to like see or read that.
Yeah.
But I remembered like, well, I got that one client,
Yeah,
So
exactly. That gave me something.
Yeah. And I have a couple friends that, have really got some notoriety or even fame. At the time, so I reached out to them, and because I wasn't feeling too great about it, I was like, "Yo, this is what's happening. I'm getting a lot of hate on the internet," and they're like, "We know," and I'm like, "What does that mean?" And they're like, "All attention is good attention," and I'm like, "That's easy for you to say. You have some good attention." I'm like, "I have all bad."
Damn.
And they were like, "Just keep going," because at the time, like what I think I cared about was I had a few tattooers that I'd like looked up to my whole career.
Yeah.
Like reposting me and being like, "This guy's an idiot. He doesn't fucking know what he's talking about." Just kind of bad mouthing me.
Damn.
And I was like, no, like already like kind of insecure.
Yeah.
about
And
my
then it just got
work.
worse.
Oh, dude. So like, thankfully my friends that had experience with this, they're like, "Bro, you started it to like make your boys laugh. You like throwing the message in. They're like, just keep going with it, man. Don't read the comments. Don't get involved. Have someone else handle that." And that's what we ended up doing, and obviously continuing. But it was such a weird like starting point, I don't know if you had like an experience like that, or like trying to understand new concepts of like online social media.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to call that your Harry Potter moment.
That's what I was going to say, because it was very similar. Like, he
Very
didn't
negative.
care. He went into it, just posted it, didn't even do hashtags.
So the story,
nothing.
I've told the story, I think, on maybe one of Kim. I always call you, I want to call you Arabelle, our daughter's name.
Yeah.
I did it. I've said it before, but I was hanging out with a friend. I went to go see Logan with this friend. And I was like, hold up, give me a second. And I posted the Patronus that I'm like, okay, progress on the Harry Potter sleeve. Thanks for looking. Didn't tag anything, nothing special. Yeah. Boom, posted it. Got out of the theater. Phone kept freezing up. Couldn't get into my account. I was like, oh, someone hacked my account. It's gone.
Yeah.
27,000 followers. I'm like, got to start over.
Yeah.
And then my buddy looks at it and he's like, what'd you say you were at? And he's like, and I was like, 27,000. No. And he shows me and it said 48. And I was like, no, somebody hacked my account, bro. I still like,
they hacked my account and they're getting me more followers.
So, yeah, right. I didn't know.
Yeah.
So then I was like, God damn, that sucks. So I restarted my phone, turned it back on, and then it started working. And then I was up like 50-something thousand followers. And I was like,
in like a day?
No, hours.
Like in hours. He calls me. It's like midnight. And he's like, "Kim, check my account. Something's going on." And I was like, "You went up like a lot of followers."
Yeah. And I'm
What'd
still,
you do?
And
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, what's going on?
But I still thought my account was being hacked.
Yeah.
I still even with that, I still thought it was being hacked. And so then the more and more, like, no, what really solidified it for me, bro, was I opened up the emails and
Yeah.
it was like 15 pages of inquiries. And I'm talking about in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my Jon Nelson moment.
But
Yeah.
out of all of those, it was more like, how much do you charge? Like they
Right.
weren't super,
Like
super
you said,
serious,
like 90%
but
was
it
negative. Like, go ahead.
Yeah. But it was like inquiries.
Yeah.
So we were like, holy crap.
But 90% of it, and no offense, if you're one of those people, I appreciate you. What can I give for $20?
Right.
What's the homie hookup? I don't even know you.
Yeah.
And it was like, so, and I did get a lot of negativity because I polarize all of my stuff.
Yeah.
We all do because that's just the name of the fucking game.
Right. That's
You know
what it
I
is
mean?
now. Yeah.
And so then I was like, a lot of comments are very negative. Like, this isn't even real. And then you got to understand, the girl that I tattooed that on, her skin is so pale, she's damn near pink, bro.
Right. Right.
So I said, and I was responding to everybody that I could because I was panicking. Like, these guys are making me look bad and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just certain people can get it done like that and certain people can't.
Right.
And I got shit on by a lot of tattooers, even photographers.
That's
They're
so
like,
crazy, but you do an amazing tattoo and now you get shit on.
I'm like, I don't understand. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. If I just take a regular photo video without a polarizer, nobody's gonna care.
Yeah.
Everybody does it. You got to keep up with the times of what's going on. So with you, I don't think I get that much negativity because I had a lot more good too.
Right.
People like backed me up, like, oh, you're just hating this and that. But I definitely felt if this is what it is to be like famous or have the big bang moment, I don't want it. I just want a tattoo, man. Because I was kind of like you where I didn't care about that stuff either. And I was just, until I looked at the emails and I was like, holy crap, something happened. This did something just like your video did.
Right.
It's kind of like unbelievable.
Yes.
I don't even know what you do.
Like
with this.
literally. Like, you're like, I don't believe this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like what's happening.
Yeah.
But for you, like what I'm saying is like how I was saying, same journey, different paths. Your trajectory, to me, in my perspective, it just keeps going up. And I think that's, for me, it's super inspiring
Cool.
to see you just fucking kill it, man. Like,
Yeah.
and you're not staying in the same spot where you were.
Right.
You're doing different things. And I think that's what it takes. I'm trying to do that.
Yeah.
You think I want to show it's your fault that I'm showing my face. It's people like you and my buddy Gabe and Pony Lawson, all these guys showing their face. I'm like, I gotta do this shit now.
Right.
But I feel like I'm gonna do it. I can't copy you because I'm not a style biter.
Right.
That's a new one for you guys. And I want to be original, right? And then I told Kim, well, I don't even know what to do. And she's like, just be yourself. And that's what I am.
Yeah.
And even in the comments now, I don't know how much hate you get now.
I don't
But
either.
He doesn't look at the comments.
Don't look at it.
Yeah.
Wreck-It Ralph. Don't read the comments, bro.
Right.
He said it best. And dude, why are you getting mad?
Right.
But that's the reality we live in now.
And I think it's an outlet for a lot of people. And, you know, I mean, now I feel pretty well versed in the social media internet world.
Yeah.
But I mean, the comment section is just not, if not more popular than the content.
But dude, you see the posts here for the comments.
Right.
I mean, I go there for the
Me
comments.
too.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
do too, right? We all do.
I stay out of it.
Oh, you do.
I just like to read them
But
because some people are hilarious and
Yeah.
others I'm like, oh my god.
I try and stay out of mine when something like pops out. I did the Sharpie video. Did you see that one?
Yes.
People hated that.
Why?
Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. I've been doing it for 30 years and I've never, I was like, oh, I feel sorry for your clients. I'll say something like trolling
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
And they get so like, I'm not mad.
I like that. So, when the videos were first going up, and it kind of balanced out, I was like proud of the views.
Sure.
Like I was able to get to that point,
Yeah.
past the anxiety and the fear and whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember I was sitting down with my boy, and he's like been going viral for 10 years.
Okay.
And I was showing him, I was like, look, you know, like I hit 1 million views here. I did this, whatever. And he's like, that's cool. And then he's like, the real flex is this. And like, he shows me his account and he commented on like someone else's video
hmm
and it had like 2 million likes.
Oh, dude.
right? So he was like trying to show me a different game. He was just like kind of joking around,
Right.
but he's like, yo, see if you can write a comment that's so
Yes.
funny that it gets all these crazy likes. So then I was in the comments a lot, you know, because I love to talk shit and like go back and forth. But then I guess I pissed off someone and my account got banned.
Yeah, that happened to me the other day.
Yeah. So I stopped doing that.
Yeah, stop. I did that. It's crazy you say that. I did that and I got like 68,000 likes.
Yeah.
On one comment of some lady swinging her dog around, trying to get away from a bigger dog. And I just made some dumb thing that I would say here.
Yeah.
And it blew up and I was like, okay. Like,
yeah.
But I mean, I don't think it did anything inquiries wise.
Sure.
But it did get me, I'm sure it got me some kind of followers.
Maybe people looked at your profile just because they're like, who is this guy?
Right.
Like,
and that's it, right?
Thing.
I mean, I think that's a benefit to it, right?
100%.
Like, I just, sometimes I'll jump in the comments with a joke. And I know sometimes it doesn't hit, but when it does, it's like, oh, dang.
No, it does work. I mean, even this, like I'm always looking at the analytics. And like this week I was looking at the analytics and they were very high for me. And I'm like, oh, what video went viral? So I'm like looking at all my videos and I don't see any abnormal views. So I'm like, what's going on? And it turned out it was a comment that I left somewhere that ended up blowing up. But yeah, it can get you that traction, you know?
That's insane.
Yeah.
I feel like you're very, like even from the last time I talked to you to now, you're extremely, like, at least compared to me, super well versed into this social media stuff. Cause I'm like a fucking caveman. I'm just trying to post it when I think it's going to hit.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't look at it like, then you hear like this, the hashtags don't work. This doesn't work. Don't do this. I'm like, I don't understand what you want me to do.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got it, man. I don't know what you're doing. You kind of told me a little bit earlier and I still don't understand what the hell you're saying.
I think one of the most important things that I did was like I started asking for help, you know, and like I realized that I didn't understand it. So like, okay, where did it go beyond me having my friend record me and sending it to my friends? You know, one of my clients was a videographer and he volunteered his time. He's like, I see what you're trying to do. Do you mind if I take a go at it? So then I was like, yeah, I don't know anything about video and editing. Please help. So he came on board, which is Danny. He manages Borrow
that's right.
Time.
That's right. Yeah.
And then him and I started learning a lot of this together. We started teaming up with other people, asking around. My friends that were viral or famous at the time, we were asking them. We were even just flying to different states to just spend some time with them, you know? Some of the trips were complete waste of time.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking like, damn, I wish we didn't come out here and pay for the hotel.
And did all this stuff.
Right. And just literally just to spend the day with some people to see what they got going on. What are they doing that we're not? But sometimes it was extremely worth it. Like working with Pony Lawson has been amazing because his video editor, Ryan, knows all this stuff that we don't know. And we know stuff he doesn't know. So like now we're working together, we can build. Or, you know, we need to know some of the new things coming out for that. So maybe we hire Fritz, a kid out of college in film school. So now he brings stuff to the table and just building the team, you know, teaming up with big companies and saying, how do you guys, you know, reach this on such a level? What do you guys do? And not acting like I know everything. Sure. You know, almost the opposite, like always going in like, I don't know anything. Please help. Do you have someone that does this? And trying to figure out a way to like bring them onto the team.
Yeah. But it's always, for me, I would have such a hard time finding ways to bring people on because I don't know. I'm just not a people person. Yeah. I'm a client person. Yeah. I'll tattoo you guys all day. Yeah. And I'll talk your ear off and stuff. And I'm very like, I try and be like very hospitable. Like I take care of my clients. I feed them, make sure they're comfortable. You want to watch a movie, listen to music. You want to talk. You don't want to, whatever. Right. It's like Uber. When do you want a conversation or not? No. AC, don't do this. Mode. AC 67 degrees, you know, that kind of stuff. Yeah. But like, you're braver than me in a sense where you have established, like you said, a team. Or for me, it's really hard to even like fathom the idea of having a team. Yeah. because in a lot of my friendships, and I know I shouldn't hold on to this feeling. Like I feel like I get screwed over a lot. Or I get like left high and dry. I don't want to feel that
Yeah.
with people that I'm working with, man. That's a crappy feeling, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it's tough. I think you always run that risk when building any new relationship, you know?
Yeah.
I definitely went through my own periods of that, whether it was like separating through partners or, you know, with my story, like being in recovery, like having friends relapse or like go back to
Right.
using drugs and like having those disappointing times,
Yeah.
you know? And for me, I allow myself to like go through that. Like, cool, I'm just not in the mood to fuck with anyone right now. But not let it be like forever.
What
you know?
changed? Like what? Because I know, again, we had different paths and stuff, but she changed for me. Like when I met Kim, before I met her, bro, I was doing graffiti still.
Yeah.
Still in the street race. I had a Fast and Furious crew going on. Like the
Yeah.
whole thing. I was a little SOB.
Right.
And for me, Kim changed everything. Because
Yeah.
I came from a very like abusive background
Right.
and it wasn't good. And so when I met Kim, everything. I already knew I was gonna marry her the first day I saw her in
Yeah.
person. For you, what changed? Like what made you
Like
who
kind
you
of,
are now?
I mean, really getting clean was like a
Mhm.
major factor for me. And this was, you know, almost even before tattooing. In my first apprenticeship, I was still using.
Okay.
And I just had the most like amazing mentor.
That's good, man.
He was a little bit more new age and more tolerant and patient. But like I wasn't there yet. And or you know what? So I'll just run you through the whole thing. The like growing up, drug use was always in the picture. It was always ruining everything. I felt like I couldn't get out of it. I kind of, you know, settled in the mind of an 18-year-old, you know,
Yeah.
that I wasn't going like to amount to anything. Like maybe that just wasn't in the cards for me. And my girlfriend at the time realized I had like interest in art, and asked her tattoo artist if he would talk to me and possibly work with me. So I went and I met him and he agreed to be my mentor, and offer me an apprenticeship. So it was the first time like in my early adult life that there was an option. Like, whoa, maybe I could be something.
Something, yeah.
You know, maybe I could be a tattooer. And like even thinking like not only is it an option, but it's kind of an option I like.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, that'd be like a cool label, you know, like a cool identity.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
And then pursuing that and like really trying my best to like stay clean, the best that I knew at the time.
Yeah.
And about 9 months into it, you know, I relapsed and I wasn't doing good. And he asked me about it. And like I was so fearful, I lied to him. I was like, no, I'm
Oh,
not
dang.
using. Yeah. And he knew I was lying.
Yeah.
So he kind of pushed it. He's like, yo, if you were honest, I wouldn't have to do this, but you're lying to me. And like, I have to like let you go. I have to fire you. Yeah. Oh, dude, it
Damn.
was so bad. I thought I was like back. I thought it was my only chance and I
Yeah.
fucked it up.
How old were you?
I was 18.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Kid.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that broke you.
Yeah. I was so upset, dude.
Oh.
And, you know, I had been suggested, it was suggested to me to go to Florida for treatment for years
Mhm.
to like get out of my environment and try somewhere else.
Sure.
And losing that apprenticeship just broke me so bad that I really didn't care about anything. So my parents were like, why don't you finally just go to Florida or like go out of state, get out
Yeah.
of here? And I did. And, you know, and I went to rehab there and I got cleaned up. Through the program and working with people, they introduced me to someone new in the tattoo world.
Okay.
He was this old, mean biker, you know?
Mhm.
It felt like my second chance, but it felt like kind of what I deserved, like a way
Yeah.
harder.
Karma's coming back. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was with him for like a year and, you know, it was really terrible while I was going through it, but
Sure.
I'm so like grateful for it,
Mhm.
you know, because he was mean, and you worked, 6 days a week. You worked from at least 12 to 12 or 10 to 1. Our day off consisted of, waking up at 6 in the morning and doing a yard sale at his house. That was our day off,
Hell yeah.
and it showed me how to work hard. It
Yeah,
showed me
it's
how
good.
to like respect the craft, how to force yourself to do things when you don't want to do it,
Yeah.
how to communicate with people you don't like, all these tools. Um, and I think that foundation just kind of carried with me throughout the whole career.
That's good.
So that was definitely the main turning point. I definitely experienced a few others along the way. When I split with my original partner that I opened Borrowed Time, it showed me I could rely on myself, be independent.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I, met my wife, it like softened me in a good way. It showed me like values, what's really important. She's a constant reminder of that. So there have been different milestones, but I think the most like life-changing one was getting clean and getting my life together.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
Do you still talk to that original mentor?
Yeah, I actually had him on the podcast.
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah.
I love that.
Awesome.
Yeah. I kind of talk to him pretty often.
That's
good.
amazing.
There were like years that we didn't talk. But I think 7 years into tattooing, he invited me up for a guest spot. So I went back to my hometown pretty much and did a guest spot with him. And it almost felt like, okay, everyone's adults now. Like the past is the past. Almost like a new relationship
Mhm.
with
Yeah.
him. And he asked me to go to dinner. And so I was like, yeah, Trent, I'd love to go to dinner with you. So we like go out to dinner. And he gave me my certificate of completion for my apprenticeship.
Oh,
Yeah, dude.
that's some very
Crying.
Whiplash moment. Have you seen the movie Whiplash?
Yes.
That's what it reminds you of.
Yeah.
Like at that last moment, that last scene.
Bro, it caught me so off guard. And he was like, I know this is silly, but he's like, man, like you fucking earned it.
That's
And we
awesome.
had
That's
this like
amazing.
cool
That's not
moment
silly,
together.
man. That's amazing.
Well, I think he just wasn't sure how it would
Sure.
take it. It was not silly at all. It's framed.
No,
It's framed at my
100%.
station.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
That's so good.
but it was
man.
cool.
He was
Really
probably
cool.
like, I know this doesn't mean anything to you now.
Right.
Like, look at you.
That's
but
awesome, man.
It matters.
See, I love hearing that because you're just talking real,
Yeah.
and that's awesome. Like I didn't do an apprenticeship, and I tried. I went to all the local shops, and I had my portfolio thrown at me. Get out of here! Or some shops were nice. I had some shops tell me that I'm not gonna make it, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm just gonna keep going my way. The only mentors I had are my art teachers in high school.
Mm.
That's it. And one of them was really hard on me. I think both of them were.
But one was more jokey. than the
Mr.
other.
Samuels was really serious. Like he took art very, very serious.
Yeah.
There's no time to joke around kind of thing. And I think I get a little bit of that when it comes to tattooing. But the biggest compliment, just how your mentor gave you that certificate, which is awesome.
Yeah.
When I feel like I made it is when both later on in my career as a tattooer, when both of the guys, they told me like that they're super proud of me and I inspired them.
Yeah.
I damn near started crying. Like that, not that I needed it, dude.
Right.
Just like you didn't need that little piece of paper, but that means everything to me, man.
Yeah.
I showed Kim a tattoo and she's like, I'm gonna read my book. It's because she's used to it. They're used to being there. So it's funny because Kim does have tattoos, but she reminds me of a lot like how I think your relationship with your wife is, because your wife doesn't have tattoos. Does she?
No, none.
See? And like would you say she's like opposite of you?
Yes.
Boom.
So when we talked in at Anime Inc. and you had said like, oh, she's not really into any of this.
Yeah.
And I was like, I relate to her. Like, I already know I relate to her so much
You're right.
because I'm the same way. Like, I wouldn't have a tattoo if he didn't tattoo.
Yeah.
Like, I was a supportive girlfriend,
Right.
but he's been tattooing for 16 years. I had from my elbow up like that was the first year that he tattooed. So it's like his crappiest work.
Thank you.
And then didn't get tattooed. I didn't get this until 2020.
Right.
Yeah.
And then last year, my leg.
Right.
But it took me 15 years to start a leg sleeve.
Yeah.
But like sometimes,
So-
bro, I forget she has them.
And
When she wore a dress at Disneyland, no, shorts at
Shorts.
Disneyland. I was like, who the hell is this lady? Oh, it's Kim. It's
know.
like, oh,
But like with that being said too, like I don't follow a lot of artists, like tattoo artists. The only people I follow are people I know,
Yeah.
like personally. And like it's funny because him and Ezio used to watch your videos all the time.
all the time.
But I didn't know. And he's like, oh my God. And when he came home from Philly, he's
Yeah.
like, Ezio, I met him. And that was the first year we didn't go
See?
to Philly.
It's
Yeah.
for me, I
And
was
we
like, oh,
were
I met
so
the guy.
upset.
Like,
I did that to my
And-
wife. I'm like, you don't know who Ben Ochoa is, but I met him.
And Ezio was like, oh my God, Dad. Like he was so upset. And I was like, who are you talking about? And then like and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I know. But like, I didn't really follow like all of your content.
Right.
And so like when the one guy came up and was like, hey, can you tell me, what do you say? Can you tell me to go fuck myself or whatever?
oh yeah,
I was like, what the heck?
What's going on?
it was like the most
And,
random,
Like
like,
my knee-jerk reaction was like, how does that make you feel that people are coming up to you
Yeah.
all the time asking you to say that?
Yeah.
So, because I just, it's not it's his world and we just like kind of hang out in it, but
Right.
like I'm not consumed with it. So I don't know anything about
but I
it.
think that works, right? I think because they're so opposite of us.
Oh, 100%.
If they
Yeah.
were into this industry,
Yeah.
we wouldn't get married. There ain't no way. Like it's
Yeah, I don't
rare
think I
that
could
it
do
works. No way.
Right. Because that's like the break.
Mhm.
That's the downtime. That's the like relaxation is that I can like go home to her and not talk about it.
Yes,
know?
because I think that's like his hardest thing is when we go out and do stuff. People, that's instantly what they want to talk about. Family functions,
Oh, dude.
friends. It's like, oh.
I appreciate it. I do.
Yeah.
And I don't ever like, and I even say it to people that I meet or family. I appreciate your support and like that you want to get tattooed. I really do.
Yeah.
I'm with my family right now.
Yeah.
Or I'm off. Here, shoot me an email. And then when I used to have cards, I'm like, here,
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about that right now. 'Cause
Like his
I'm in it.
uncle's like, really? I got to email
Every
you?
single
He's
time
like,
I see
yeah.
my uncles.
He's like, yeah.
I don't want to talk about it right now. And they just keep talking.
Yeah.
I want this koi fish. I'm like, show me where you see a koi fish on my page.
Right.
But I do it anyways. I'll do
Yeah.
it. It's one of those things, man. Like, it's cool. But it's definitely, it's good that Kim is not into this world.
Right.
And I see that a lot with your, like, because you barely post any photos of your wife. And I think that's awesome. I
Yeah.
try and do the same thing. I don't really.
But you didn't
know.
for a really long time either. would
I
say
even
the
still
last
now. I
few
don't know if you saw my
years.
last video. What was it? The research your subject matter. Anyways, I just did the video like last week, and the kids are in it. And you know, I say write that down.
Yeah.
The kids do it.
The kids,
Arabo
they
goes-
wanted to be so included.
Yeah. So Araba goes write that down to my son, and
Yeah.
Ezio has a notepad, and he goes, shh. And it was. I love that, dude.
That's cool.
I love that. And then my page went down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What? Like,
Yeah.
it's a shitty feeling
It is terrible.
because you worked so hard on this. You especially.
Yeah. So I didn't realize that that's like part of the game when you really start to
Pop off.
get involved, I
Yeah.
guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to like learn the hard way. I just was telling this story, but essentially like the first avenue that I really started to monetize was through Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
where I was like, holy shit, this makes real money, you know? And
On
through-
Facebook.
yeah, bro.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So like in the monetization, like the in-stream ads and the
Mhm.
views, I was like, this is crazy. So this might have been like 3 years ago. It's not the same now, but 3 years ago it was like really good.
Damn.
So it was enough for me to like hire someone like full-time salary position, right? And I was like, oh, this is awesome. And then having them on, we were able to create more. That number just went up. So I just reinvested everything. So I started hiring the team based on the Facebook money.
Damn.
It would literally be like if we made X amount, I used 100% of that to
yeah, reinvest.
higher
Yeah.
salaries.
Yeah.
Because like, costumes, we really didn't have that much expenses. Once in a while I buy a camera, but most of the time we were doing it on our phones. And then I made a video about people trying to hide the fact that they were getting like tattoos affiliated with certain groups.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And we like posted it, and I told Kyla, who was posting it, I was like, do not put anything in the caption saying like the word gang or affiliation or anything like that.
None of that.
And she did.
Shoot.
And it was so bad. So that went like instantly viral. I started getting all these threats from people.
Whoa.
Facebook like started sending us all these messages about going against community guidelines, like hate, blah blah blah, whatever. Then like the hates and the threats started coming in through the email. It was terrible. And then the account just got banned. Like completely banned.
Oh, wow.
So now the monetization isn't coming in. And I just hired this whole staff
All
of
these
people that's like paid from this. I was like, what am I going to do? You know, and I'm pretty transparent with the team. So I like called them in and I was like, this is how I was paying all your salaries. Like we have to figure something out. And that like led us to, you know, creating a presence on YouTube and really touching every platform. But I had to like learn that lesson the hard way.
Yeah.
And it still happens all the time. I mean, just this year, I've lost 2 Facebook accounts. One of them had 800,000 followers. Another one had 300,000. Like I think I've lost accounts this year of over 1 million followers.
Oh
Like
my God.
it just happens.
Holy crap, dude.
Yeah. And
So what do? You just start another one?
yeah.
That's what I told her.
Well, luckily enough, like you have a name to
Yeah,
where like
people know
people
who you
are
are.
watching your videos regularly. So if you do start a new one, they're like, "Where? Hey, I haven't seen him lately. Like, where's his stuff?"
Right. And you know, we've created to the best of our ability like plan Bs, let's say. Like I always have a backup account. Maybe I'm not advertising that account, but it's posting content and running in the background.
Oh, okay.
So that like if one does get, you know,
I need to do
taken
that.
or
I have to
banned,
do that.
you know, you just tell everyone like, hey, follow my main page, you know, this account's gone, whatever. We have all of our content like stored on our own cloud and organized by like date. So if we have to start a new page, we'll just recycle the content to
Of
get it all
course.
back up there. And it usually gives you a pretty good boost, you
Yeah.
know? Like cool. If we had like 800,000 on this one account, I know that if I repost certain videos in a certain way, probably in a couple months, I can have at least 100,000 back,
Mhm.
you know? And you have to be on it. Like they're the scams and like the hacks and the community guidelines are always changing. Like you have to like pay attention. So that's what I spend a lot of my time looking at, making sure everyone is trained that is going into those emails. Like you never click this. This is how they're going to get you. Even in the Facebook.
Oh yeah.
You know, like you'll click the
You get that all the time.
notifications and it says fake news stuff to you, fake alerts. So there's like a mild training process for all this. You know, always using the two-way authentication, two-factor.
Yeah, it's important.
But it's, you know, it's part of it. And you know, it sounds like we've both experienced the consequences.
Bro, the scam thing for tattooers, you know, is off the page.
Yeah.
This lady came in today. And she's like, I have an appointment with this guy, Victor, Vic. I'm like, there's nobody.
She didn't know what his name was at first, and so we're
You
like,
tell him because you talked to her.
I was like, oh, do you know what their name is? And she's like, oh, I don't know, Jeffrey, Jeremy. I'm like, we don't have anyone here by that.
Yeah.
And then she goes, let me look, and she looks, and she's like, yeah, it's this guy. And I'm like, we don't have anyone here. Like, are you sure that's the right? And she's like, yeah, he gave me your address.
Whoa.
So didn't list the shop, but gave her the address. And so then I went to his profile because it's on Instagram.
Yeah.
And he has no photos. And she's like, I was just on here 3 hours ago and his page was normal. And then she's looking through her DM and he was like unsending messages.
Whoa.
Yeah. So she sent a deposit and everything. And I was telling him, I'm like, that's insane that they have our shop address.
Yeah.
And I was like, I feel like that's somebody who's like trying to have us reap the consequences of their scam.
Right.
Because then luckily she wasn't She wasn't upset with us. Like,
Yeah.
but you never know. Like, it could be one of those people that comes in and they're like, give me my money. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't have anything to do with that guy.
So, and it's like, how do you like prevent some of that stuff, or, you know, what can you do? Because I know tons of artists that like will take or communicate with client through DM, take deposits, like, hey, send it to my Zelle, send it to my Venmo.
And she used Zelle. So I was like, well, maybe you can just dispute it with your bank. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works.
Yeah, but it seems like I've had this talk a little bit with people, but it almost makes more sense to just have like a website. You only book through the website. You make it clear in your bio, like, I'd never take this and that.
Yeah, that's what I was telling her too. I'm like, it's unfortunate, but there's so many scams now that I feel like if you look at a page and it only has 50 pictures and they've all been posted in the last month.
Yeah.
That's the dead
that's
giveaway.
a fake guy.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah. So I was like, I think it's really important that people are looking at the history of that artist, the followers.
Definitely. But they don't.
Right.
People get really excited, especially let's say somebody wants to get tattooed by you. Don't fucking so beyond the moon. They don't care about looking into it. They're like, he contacted me. I mean, I want to make a scammer beware type video.
That'd be good. Yeah.
Just to like make it clear. But I've also been telling her we were supposed to have a website up years ago.
Yeah.
And I just dropped the ball on it. My buddy moved out of the country that was doing it. He worked for Facebook for a while, so he knows his stuff.
Yeah.
And I want to make one now, but something super simple. Let's get it up there and get it moving and do exactly what you just said. Like, send that. This is the only way you book. But here's the thing. Even if you do that, they're still going to fall for it.
Correct. It's so easy to make like a duplicate website and all this stuff. We've talked about it. Like, maybe we FaceTime our clients, or like, you know, how do you,
us too. We talked about that.
Yeah, because there are some artists that do like consultations where they block out like certain days of the month, and then that's when they do like their face-to-face consultation.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it would be beneficial with how heavy the scamming is right now, because it's insane.
I've even had like Brandon, like my manager, like, he's like, this client just wants to see your face real quick. And he goes like that. And then he's like, all right, are we good? You know?
Yeah.
But that
because they don't want to get scammed.
Right. And I'm all about it.
Yeah,
I'm like, hey, it's me.
I am now because of you. Because before you, I had that very like, I like to, I know this is funny. Like, I'm like Batman.
Right.
I don't want to be seen.
Yeah, I get that. Though.
But now, even she told me one time years ago, you need to show people who you are. And I'm like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Well, when he started, God, I want to say it's only been like in the last 4 years, maybe 5, but I feel like that's even pushing it. He never showed his face. Like, it was all just tattoo content. So then when he started, he got the ink set with Fusion. His face is on it. And people are like, oh, it's so nice to see what you look like.
Yeah.
A lot of people comment that stuff. And it's
that.
like, and now when we go places, we've been out in public. And I'm not no celebrity. I'm not saying that. You're 10 times more celebrity than me. People are like, oh, dude, I love your work. Huh? And it's like, oh, thanks.
I don't know what to say to you.
I just keep walking because I've also had it where we're together and then they'll get rude with me.
Oh,
They'll be like, hey, man, like, I love your work. Oh, dude, are you? And I'm like, oh, yeah, how's it going, dude? Thank you. Appreciate you. And then they'll be like, hey, how much? And then as soon as I hear that, I'm like, hey, man. And I remember telling this guy just like this, hey, man, I'm with my family right now. If you can shoot me an email, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I'll totally answer any questions you have. Oh, it's like that, huh? I'm like, you know what? Yeah, it's like that.
What? Don't fucking.
And then it's like, I don't want to turn into that. So then it's like, yeah, it's like that, man. And we just walked off.
Yeah.
But it's like, why?
Yeah.
Like, we live in a very strange time right now.
Yeah, bro.
Do you remember you'd get beat up for stuff like that?
Yeah.
And it's like now everybody just says what they want, whatever they want. Right. It's like, come on. I don't know, man.
Yeah, they really say whatever they want on the internet.
Dude. It's ridiculous, some of the stuff that I've encountered. I can't imagine. Because I know that when I was on your podcast, we had briefly talked, I think, before we started recording, like, some of the people you encounter.
Yeah.
Gnarly.
Right.
Like, you've had stalkers, I'm sure.
Yeah, we've had some weird people.
But it comes as a territory.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm getting at with it. Like, the more known you are, the more stuff you're going to get.
Yeah.
And
Like
then-
just more of everything.
Yeah.
Good,
Yeah.
bad, middle ground. Yeah.
What have you had like a genuinely good interaction with someone, like something that you remember?
Yeah. I mean, all the time, honestly.
Good.
A more recent one, it's not even like that crazy of a story, but I just had met this kid.
Mhm.
He's a young kid, and we like kind of connected. He ended up booking a tattoo with me, from the content.
Yeah.
And he comes from like a broken home. So we talked about that. And he didn't bring it up the first session. He like played it cool. We just talked. But then the second session, he was like, I'm interested in like tattooing,
Oh, there it is.
And I don't know, most of the time I'm just like, yeah, like that's cool, whatever.
Yeah.
I guess he just caught me on a good day and I was like, yeah, tell me about it. Like you have artwork, bro. And his artwork was like amazing. And I was like, okay, this is really cool. Like, what are you doing about it? And like now, like my kind of like test to see how serious you are is if you're asking me about like apprenticeships,
Mhm.
I'm like, go sign up for art classes and then come back and talk to
Good.
me. And he did.
Oh,
And he like sends me his stuff. I don't know, it just like hit me in a weird way. It's like this kid from a broken home like has every excuse to like quit or just fucking
Mhm.
give up or what, because it's
you motivated him. You inspired him.
Well, and you know what that feels like too.
yeah, I know what that feels like. He went out, he did it, he did the art classes. Like
Wow.
he inspired me, I guess.
yeah,
Is
for
what I'm
sure.
getting at,
Yeah.
and I'm like, whoa. And then it had me like, now I'm researching some art classes, and I'm like, maybe I'll
Mhm.
fine tune
That's
like
good.
these kind of things. And but it was just cool, man. It was a really cool experience. There's definitely been the ones where like, I'm meeting some of my heroes, or like I meet,
Sure.
like some other famous people, or I end up in these crazy situations. But most recently, that kid really inspired me.
It took you to another.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, it's a very full circle moment for you, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because you
Oh, heck yeah.
experienced that as a kid. And now, I mean, look at where you are.
Right.
I'm sure when you were that age, you couldn't have imagined reaching what you've reached now.
Right.
And so, like, that's awesome. And then to give that to another young kid.
Yeah.
So,
He could be the next best thing, and you inspired that. You put that on track.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
know what I
Or
mean?
like played a small part or whatever.
Mhm.
But it's just cool because sometimes I'll like get in my head that the new generation is lazy.
Me too.
Like not willing to do anything and da. So different. And I mean, this kid's young. He like just turned 18 and like he's working hard. He's doing the art classes, and it kind of like gave me hope for the new generation.
For sure.
Because
there's a lot of that laziness. I mean, we had it too, but I don't think as much.
yeah.
I think it was just a different time. That's
Yeah.
how I cut it to, because I'm with you on that. Like, dude, where were we? That kid drew through the blizzard.
oh,
Dude.
in Chicago,
We went to Chicago.
which was,
And I don't know about you, but my back's, and I don't do it intentionally to be rude or anything, but it's a lot of times how conventions are set up, your back's a lot of times to the crowd.
Yes.
You're not facing them. I
Yeah.
like to face them, but sometimes I can't.
Right.
So I'm facing away, I'm tattooing this Method Man portrait, doing my thing, boom, boom, boom. And then Tara from Fusion, and then her at different times, they're like trying to tell me, hey, there's this kid behind her. I was like, oh, okay, give me a second.
Yeah.
And then Kim was like, hey, this kid drove through a fucking blizzard.
well, Tara had talked to him. And
Yeah.
she was like, hey, that guy came here like
That's right.
specifically to
That's
see
right.
Ben. And I was like, oh, really? So then he was working and I knew he wasn't going to stop.
Yeah.
Like his client was there for the time he was there.
I try and give the clients their time. Like, I don't want
course.
to take all these breaks.
Of course.
So then I started talking to him and he was like, oh, Miss Kim. Like, and I was like,
Dude,
what?
this is crazy. Listen to this.
And he's like, I've been following Ben for a really long time. Like, I look up to him so much. He inspires me, all this stuff. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. And like, I'm such a people person. So like, I could talk to you about anything.
Yeah.
You bring M&Ms to the table and I'll make a conversation with you.
Right.
It's not
Yeah.
that hard. So I'm like just talking to him and he's like, no, like I follow everything he does. Like Ben used to work at Walmart. I did
Dude.
too. Like he was like
When is the last time I
nobody
even
knows
mentioned that?
Yeah.
The
So-
dude like really did a deep dive.
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap, you really do. Like, you are definitely someone who like knows his stuff. And
Yeah.
so then I was like, hey, like this kid. And he's like, yeah, like I drove out, I think he said from Michigan or something. And there was a
Something.
blizzard. He drove like 4 hours through
Bro.
a blizzard. And I was like, stop it. And he's
Yeah.
like, no, really. And his girlfriend was there. She's like, yeah.
Yeah, we did it.
I was like,
Yeah.
She was like, we really did.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, are you going to be here all weekend? He's like, yeah, I'm going to be here all weekend. I came here specifically to meet Ben.
Aw.
And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you for coming. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, hey, you got to talk to this kid.
Like
He fucking
stop.
drove through a
Yeah,
blizzard.
that's what I don't stop really unless I'm eating or whatever, or stretching.
Yeah.
And then so I turned around and I told the kid, and I was like, hey, come over here. Just like that.
Yeah.
And then you saw his face go, real? And I was like, yeah, come over here. I was like, what's up, man? What's your name? This and that. I met him, talked to him. And then he didn't say anything. And I was like, so where you coming from? Like, kind of like break the ice. And then I was like, they told me you did this crazy drive. I was like, why'd you come see me, man? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just another tattooer, dude. That's how I truly
Right.
look at myself like that. I'm not hiring anybody, man. I just try a lot harder than some people.
Right.
And that's what I told that kid that. I was like, he started telling me his apprenticeship story, and I think a total of like 3 years apprenticeship under like 3 different people or some crazy thing. And I was like, let me see your work. Bro, that's better work than some tattooers that call themselves tattooers.
Yeah.
So basically at the end of it all, the 2-3 days he was there, before he left the booth, I said, hey, you're not an apprentice no more. I'm knighting your ass. Like, you're not an apprentice no more. So then his name was Jay the Apprentice, I want to say.
Yeah.
He went and liked or commented or shared one of my things. And then I saw his name, it still said apprentice. And I was like, hey, I wrote him. What'd I tell you about being an apprentice? Change your name.
Yeah.
And he did. Next
Nice.
day, boom, change it to like some Dragon Ball Z related thing.
Cool.
And I was like, good.
Yeah.
I was now go. Like, on your way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he's gonna make it. He's a good kid. And I was very humbled by that because that's heavy. I never grew, I still sometimes even like she'll tell you, I feel like I don't deserve the things that I have, even though I know I worked for it.
Mm.
That's just how I grew up. I grew up really like gutter, like cutthroat. My dad was really heavy with me.
Right.
So to think that somebody did all that to just talk to me, bro, that's so, why? I'm still like asking, like,
Right.
why? You don't need to do that, man. Just DM me or something. Like, you know, but it's weird. And I'm sure you get that all the time, man. Like, it's a thing.
Yeah. It's yeah, like you said, it's really humbling. It's like interesting to like see that perspective. I mean, we're with ourselves every day,
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
So sometimes it's hard to have like a realistic perspective because you have such a bias.
Mhm.
And I feel like I get the best like version of that through others, you know? It could be like with fans and people I've never met, or it could be like with my friends.
Yeah.
You know, it could be on the other end where like my boy Chris that I see every day, he's like, bro, you're acting not good. Like tighten up, you know, or like you're too tired, take a break.
Yeah.
You know, or it's you know, like a fan giving me a compliment or telling me something. Like it can be both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
You know?
Mhm.
And I think it's good to like take it all in and you know, because you have to be careful. Like I can't be like too hard on myself. Like, oh,
Yeah.
Chris is telling me I'm being a piece of shit. I need to feel really bad. Or like someone telling me like I am the shit and then getting like too cocky or arrogant.
Sure.
Like in finding that balance, right?
Because it's really easy
Yeah.
to
Be like
topple.
sensitive to that
Yeah,
stuff.
dude.
Yeah.
Super.
Yeah.
And
It's-
that's where I come in
Yeah.
with
yeah.
with the tattoo.
And I know she likes it, sure. And at this point in our relationship, I don't really care if she does. I know I did a good job. So that's all that matters. It's like,
He does. He's like, God, you never tell me anything. I'm
Right.
like, But on those days when I'm like, oh, wow, that's really good. He's like, are you sure?
It's a lose-lose for me.
Yeah.
The real one, bro. And I don't know if you're trying to have kids anytime soon, but
Yeah.
my kids, if they, that shit
Oh
hurts.
my gosh, Arabelle is really bad.
She's bad, dude. Dude,
Tough
bro,
critic.
when my clients, when we do the conventions, my clients are the ones that enter. I don't ever enter contests.
Right.
They'll ask me, hey, can I go into? I'm like, yeah, if you want to, don't feel pressured. I don't care
Right.
about that. And because I don't believe that trophies define an artist.
Right.
But it's all for fun for me. It's all fun.
Yeah.
Bro, if I get second place, my daughter's like, I'm pissed at you.
Yeah, she's really
What is wrong with you? You didn't get first place? I don't care.
What are you doing, Dad?
Like that, dude.
She has. And I'm like,
representing
Arabelle.
our family.
I know.
Yes, bro.
I'm like, Arabelle, you need to tone it down.
Right.
And she's like, well, what? He didn't
That
win.
hits me though.
And I'm
Can
like,
imagine.
it's
It
not.
does, like,
God, it's not his fault.
Right.
And she's like, yes, it is. And I'm like,
Right.
what am I supposed to do better than this?
Yeah.
But it as much as it hurts and as weird as it sounds, it does push me. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, I'm gonna fucking show you today.
I also use those moments though as teaching moments. Like, listen, you're not always going to win everything.
Yes, definitely.
There's always going to be someone out there who's better than you.
Yeah.
So that means you have to work harder. And that's how Daddy looks at it every single time. When he walks
Every
into
single
the
time.
building, he's like, you know what? I'm going to try the best that I can today.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm going to win. Maybe I lose. Maybe somebody else was doing just as good or better.
Right.
And so I really do try to use those because she's like,
Hardcore, man.
Wow.
It's very damaging to my whatever
His
ego I
ego.
have.
That's good though. She thinks very highly of you, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Apparently I've been sucking every day since, but so you trying to have some kids eventually or
Yeah.
what? Oh,
Yeah.
good. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, we probably sooner than later.
Oh, good.
Getting everything in place. For me and she's I think been ready for a while.
Okay.
But for me, like knowing, like I'm not naive to the fact that like things are gonna change.
Sure.
You know, so being ready for that, and wanting, I guess, just a new chapter of life. I think
That's
is kind
awesome,
of what
man.
it's coming down to. Like her and I talked, like, okay, we've got to be like selfish for a while now. Like, why don't we try to build
Sure.
a family? You know?
That's good, man.
Yeah.
I don't think it's for everybody. I think that, some people have like their first, like the dogs, cats.
Yeah.
And for a while when we had kids, like when they were babies, we were like, that ain't like a kid. It is. Because
Yeah.
now I have a lot of clients that don't want to have kids or can't, unfortunately. And those dogs, those animals are their kids. And it give me a different perspective. But man, I'm going to tell you, man, when you have a kid, it changes everything. It's like your brain gets rewired.
Sure.
When Ezio was born, my son, yes, his name's from Assassin's Creed. You don't know that, now you do.
Right.
Shit, I didn't tell her that till after.
yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Anyways, when he was born, bro, like I just didn't want to stop working. I took
Yeah.
time off to be with them, but it's like my fire just like grew to a different height.
Yeah.
With Arabelle, it was different.
It
I
was
didn't
just-
stop working, but I think for me, it was more stressful.
Mm.
It was a more stressful environment. Like the place he was working at the time was stressful.
Very stressful.
Yeah.
It just wasn't cohesive with our family.
Yeah.
And then having two, and she was just she needed a lot more attention than like our son did. Our son was super chill. She was very high maintenance. So it was just overall, it was so different. So just like when they say, oh, every child is different. Of course you are like, oh yeah, okay, whatever.
Right.
But like you don't really realize how much until you're in that moment.
It's heavy.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found myself so many times like everything that worked with our son, our daughter hated.
Yep.
So it was like
Mhm.
it was like I was relearning everything. With our son, I was like, I'm a freaking unicorn mom. I'm amazing.
It was
Like,
easier.
these people who complain about their kids, there's something wrong with them. And then we had our daughter, and I was like, oh my God.
I take back what I said.
Yes.
It was like,
God was like, I'm about to humble you, girl.
yeah, straight
was
up.
like-
It was like she was like a miniature version of me, full
Yeah.
grown attitude.
Yeah.
and just it was really hard, man.
It was
But
hard. It was difficult.
you're gonna love it, man.
But in the
It's an
best
amazing
way.
thing.
I would go back to every hard moment, every cry in the closet alone by myself all over again
Yeah.
for her.
Speaking of kids, how's Cam doing?
He's okay. He, we were talking before that we're in a weird time for tattooing.
Sure.
Economy's not great. People aren't spending the way they used to. Clients, are not in abundance right now.
Yeah.
So I think everyone's kind of slowed down.
Mm-hmm.
There's time to like reevaluate and look maybe where your career is, because you actually have time to look at it.
Yes.
So I think Cam is doing really well in the sense of executing the artwork and making sure that time is spent on the artwork. But sometimes I'm afraid he's spending too much time on that. And what I mean by that is like, I think it's great to put a lot of time into your design and
Sure.
research and all that, but I don't think 100% of your time should go to that. I think you need rest periods. I think you need
Yeah.
family time. I think you
Yeah.
need to work on marketing and strategy and have it be well-rounded. Like, cool, you finish your pen drawing. Instead of like start a new one, why don't you work on marketing a little bit? Why don't you work on client retention? Why don't you take the day off or whatever it is?
Yeah.
And like finding that balance. I think it's totally normal for where he's at right now.
Yeah.
Exploring, putting different amounts of time into different things. But overall, I think he's doing great.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
His work's really good.
Yeah. I
Like
agree.
you said, it's just a weird time right now.
Yeah.
And you just gotta make it through the storm.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people for the first time, including Cam, are experiencing their first real slow season.
When did he start apprenticing under you? Or actually
I think
tattooing?
3 years.
3. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is it for him.
Right.
Because you've been tattooing for a while. How many years?
13.
So you would have been through the reams too. Like we've been through slow
Yeah.
seasons before.
But with COVID and then all the money from the government and the stimulus checks and
It spoiled
and then
us.
it was like 3 years of like these you
Killing
could
it.
just throw a
Super
machine
work.
and money would come
Yeah.
back,
It was true,
Yeah.
dude.
So, and I think a lot of people got into the industry during this time.
Yes.
I mean, we saw the tattoo industry blow up.
Explode,
We saw
bro.
private equity enter the tattoo realm. We saw it like reach heights and clients and audiences it never reached before. And everyone was signing up to be a tattoo artist. And they're like, yeah, it's easy. You just do it. You make up a style and you get paid lots of money.
Yeah, it's true. And now,
Right.
it's so I've had conversations with other artists about this. Let me get your opinion on it. Is it that it's slow, or is it that it's normalizing into the pace that it was before COVID and before
Stimulus
the
checks.
stimulus checks and stuff?
Yeah.
Because I think that during that COVID, that because like you said, 3 years we were slammed,
Yeah.
busy. I think that I don't want to say that it's balancing out, because if this is balanced out, this is not a good thing.
Right.
I think that it's just, I don't know. I don't know if this is the new norm. I don't think so.
I'm not sure either. And I think it is going to affect everyone a little bit differently.
Yeah.
We saw the pricing of tattoos, let's just be honest, go out of control.
Mhm.
Right. So
Ridiculous, bro.
ridiculous. Yeah.
2 years in, charging $4,000 a day. I'm
Right.
like, what? I don't even.
So I think it's a few things. I think you know,
Yeah.
people might be like, oh, like I'm a little slow right now. It's like, yeah, but you're a little slow charging thousands a day.
Yes.
Like that's not that bad.
No.
You know? Or it might be like, well, I'm not getting crazy views or attention
Sure.
from my social media posts. It's like, yeah, but there's an election going on. And
Yep.
like what
Nobody
you think
cares
you're gonna
about it.
grab more attention than Trump going on like these like you're just not. Like
Mhm.
they have millions and millions pumping into their
Into
election
that
campaigns
stuff right now.
that's what you're competing with right now.
Mhm.
A political agenda. If anything, I would draw it back a little bit and just wait till it's over.
Just wait.
And pump it in January. I think we are experiencing somewhat of a correction because, like
Yeah.
I said, like the new money is entering the tattoo world. So what typically happens is like if private equity comes in, let's say they buy, it's going to take them a little bit to figure out what's going on in the industry, to pump a little bit money in this direction, that direction. I don't know if they quite have it figured out.
Right.
So we're seeing new changes with that. I mean, if you pay attention, like you're seeing this company bought that company, that
Yes,
sold
I am
this,
paying
change,
attention. Yep.
like a lot of moving parts. And like when stuff is moving all the time, like it's not stable, it's not going to
No.
produce money. So a lot of changes have been occurring with this like rapid growth. So my opinion, like I think it's balancing, correcting itself a little bit. I
Yeah.
think it's weeding certain people out. By me, I'm seeing shops close
Oh,
down.
yeah,
I'm seeing
dude.
people quitting tattooing,
Big time.
you know? So I don't know, maybe within a year, I think it'll be a lot more
I'd give
stable.
it a year.
But I think during this time, if you can figure out how to make it work, you will be ultra successful in
Super.
2-3 years.
Super.
Yeah.
And I think that's luckily I think we were part of that first round of making it work.
Yeah.
And so when it was busy, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I was working nonstop.
Sure.
And it's like, I think it kind of goes back to what you said. It's pacing yourself.
Yes.
Because I think that we all kind of get in, at least I do sometimes when I don't post, or I like you get that FOMO, like you're missing out or I'm not doing enough. And then it's like, I'm going to post 3 things today. And it's like, it doesn't do anything for you.
Right.
So sometimes I don't even go online like for a week at a time.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you right now, bro, like me going to Japan, I didn't post shit.
Right.
We did a lot of travel in the beginning of the year, didn't really post that much. And I really think that affected me. I don't even care.
You know
Like-
what? It can be good though, like to hold back a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it does create a demand or like a want.
Yes.
You know, like one of my friends, actually my buddy I'm staying with here, he does maybe 1 or 2 posts a year, but he posts on his story all the time.
I do that a lot, dude.
Sure. So like, and it creates a demand. Like
Yeah.
when he posts something, everyone's so interested because he doesn't post that a lot. Doesn't post a lot.
That's a good way.
Different strategy. But I was even talking to like Diamante, and she says like she will post a lot for a week or 2 and then kind of post nothing.
Yeah.
And then post a lot for a week or 2 and then kind of back to nothing, and almost taking these like tolerance breaks, and it works out really well for her. You know? So I think there's all kinds of like right ways to do it.
Yeah.
And benefits in all of it.
Yeah.
You know?
I think for me, this posting the stories, and now what I tell a lot of artists to do is if you got nothing to post a couple stories, and in those stories, don't do it like all together, but like
Right.
one a week or something, or one every couple days.
Yeah.
What I'll do in my stories is I'll say, here's a tattoo like post or whatever, like a reel. I'll just post it on my stories, and I'll say on the top for tattoo inquiries to email me, and
Yeah.
that's it. And I get inquiries every single time.
Right.
They might not book all the time, but at least I'm getting those inquiries in.
Yeah.
And right now I am seeing that effect of people not wanting to spend too much money, but at the same time, I like to keep things fair. Like if I have a client that I've been tattooing for years, I don't want to give this new guy a discount because I need to get a tattoo in, because then I'm going to feel like I'm not being fair about it.
100%.
And that's a big thing for me. Like, I don't know.
I think it's just important to keep your name in their head.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And it's not like any new idea. This is what every marketing
No.
company does, but maybe they're just not ready to spend right now. But as long as you can keep your name in the forefront of their brain, like when they're ready to spend, it's going to be you.
Yes.
You know, and that's like with anything. Like,
Mhm.
I'm guilty of it. I'll go on like Facebook or whatever, and you know, they have 6,000 marketing points on me, and they get me on the right day, and I'm like, you know what? I want to buy that pair of shoes. They probably showed it to me 100 times,
But
it was
that
just
one
the
time.
day they got me, you know, or whatever it was.
And the same thing with promoting like the stories.
Yeah,
And the
Yeah.
thing is though, bro, is you can post one story, 10 people will see it.
right.
I mean, you got to post a bunch like throughout the week for enough people to see it to get any kind of.
Yeah, or even just like collaboration, you know, like while I'm here, I'm staying with a bunch of people in a different industry. So like we're taking stories and I'm just tagging them.
Yeah, sure.
And then then they repost it. So now I get views from their audience. And I like the collaboration post because it's like sharing. It's like working together. I think that's cool. You know, maybe there's always someone that benefits a little bit more. Maybe like this person's got a bigger following, so they're kind of doing me a favor by, you know, sharing or
Yeah.
reposting. But I like the collaboration because I feel like it's really people working together,
Yeah.
you know?
Speaking of collaborations, you went and taught a seminar out in Texas recently. didn't you?
Yeah.
How was that?
Dude, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
I
It
wasn't
looks great.
Yeah, thanks. I didn't know if I liked teaching.
Sure.
It was the first time I ever like did a presentation,
What'd you teach about?
social media marketing.
Well, of course you did.
Yeah.
Because you got that unlocked, dude. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, it was pretty so what I loved is the whole team designed the presentation with me.
Mhm.
So it wasn't like I did it alone. We did it how we normally do it. Like I kind of shout out some ideas. We had Brandon, who's very corporate, type it up very nicely, you know, not in the way that I would
Sure,
type it.
sure.
We had Danny do all the, you know, pictures and videos associated with it and the design. Like he does the editing anyway. And then I think 2 times I like tested it. Like I came to the shop and I presented it in front of them and we made notes and like changes. I tried to take it very serious.
Good.
So I felt like confident when I went there, but it was so cool because some of the other presenters, like I really liked and wanted to meet, you know, like Mike Chambers, like Edit Paints,
Mhm.
Avijo, her husband. I mean, there was a bunch of great people there. So even though I was presenting, I was very excited to get to see like their presentations,
Mhm.
you know, and like learn some stuff.
That's good, man.
But it was very interesting because right before my presentation, and I don't think anyone really knew what my presentation was because it was just titled Social Media Marketing, Do I Have to Do This?
Mm.
It didn't really give that much of what I was going to talk about. They had their sponsors for the event come. They're like, we're going to hear, before our next presenter, we're going to hear a quick word from our sponsors.
Mhm.
And one of the sponsors came up and he like talked about like, this is what our company's about. This is how we, you know, handle sponsorship. I might be wrong, but it sounded like he said, we kind of only sponsor the like 1%, but that doesn't mean like you can't work with us.
Mm.
We can, you know, work with newer artists and talked about that.
Mhm.
In my presentation, I pretty much said the complete opposite of what he said. And I was like, fuck, like this guy just said this like 20-minute speech and it sounded really good of like sponsorship and how to work with it. And he represents a company. And like, I'm about to go up there and say the complete opposite of everything he just said. So I kind of got like nervous about
Yeah.
that. But I was like, what am I going to do? Change my fucking presentation?
No way.
I'm like, whatever. I'm just going to go up there and like
Hell yeah.
say it. And I tried to kind of say it like, you know, there are many ways to look at this. You know?
Yeah, you're trying to ease the blow.
Yeah, whatever it was. But it was cool. I like the feedback I got. And I definitely am going to do it again. But I think that this is something we're really going to see grow in the industry. I think there are going to be many symposiums. I think that there are going to be way more conventions based around seminars. And I think we're going to see this become a huge thing in the industry.
Mhm.
I like doing it. They're still figuring it out. What I mean by that is because now I'm participating in a few different ones.
Sure.
And kind of giving them my feedback. Because you go there and like some people are amazing tattooers, but maybe they're not great presenters.
Sure.
There's no vetting process that I've noticed.
Oh.
So they'll be like, "Hey,
I see what
would
you're
you
saying.
want to
Yeah,
present
sure.
on our thing?" And you just say yes, and that's it.
Boom. Done.
Like if it was me, I'd be like, "Yeah, we're gonna schedule like a video call, and you're gonna do
Yeah,
a
of
half
course, of
hour of your
course.
presentation, and I'm gonna see if I like it
That's
before
good.
I hire you." You know? And
Are you ever gonna do it? Are you ever gonna like host it? Host one of those?
we talked about it. The answer right now is no.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna get involved with some other people doing it but so that's a good question. So right after we did that, I had a meeting with the team and I was like, are we going to host one of these or are we just going to be presenters?
Mm.
And we kind of were like, we have too much going on. Let's just do the presentation.
One thing at a time.
But I really liked it. So like now I would like the word to get around that I'm interested, I'm willing to work hard and hopefully gain the reputation of someone that's really good at doing a presentation.
Yeah.
Because I think in a year or two, maybe a little bit longer, I think the industry will kind of have figured out who the good presenters are.
Yeah.
And I would like my name to be included in that. So I'm going to be working hard to do that. And I think that comes with, proper preparation. I think variety in your presentations. Like I'm not a one-trick pony. I can do one on this or this or this.
Yeah, sure.
And really developing that. Because for me, it was so cool. Like I just enjoyed the experience. I really enjoyed the public speaking. I feel like I gave information that was worth whatever they spent on the ticket.
Yeah.
And it was nice, like talking to them at the end.
Yeah.
So like right now, I'm like, cool. If that's a responsibility, I'm up for it, and like I'll do it. And to be honest, I've definitely seen some people that are not up for the responsibility, but kind of like went anyway.
Okay.
If that like makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But yeah, very new idea. I don't think it's a secret to anyone that these things make crazy money.
Yes, correct.
So that's why I think we're going to see so many of them, because people are going to catch on. They're going to be like, oh, let me start one of these symposiums because I can make a lot of money.
It's like a soft entrance to like a convention, like throwing a convention.
But I think it's way easier.
Easy. I was going to say, it's a lot less stressful in that sense of a convention compared to that.
Right. Because you're dealing with, I don't know, 5 to 10 presenters.
Okay.
As opposed to 1,000 artists, and then you're just selling tickets.
Yeah. And
you set up a stage. So it's almost like a convention without all the booths and just the stage.
Yeah.
It's a show, So, and I think there's the potential to earn the same amount of money.
Yeah.
So I think we'll see people start hosting those. And then I think especially we'll see companies hosting them.
But now when it comes to this stuff though, what is the demographic of the students though? Are we talking about apprentice level? Are we talking about years in? Like, do you think that there should be a standard to who takes it?
That's a good question. So what I saw was everyone.
All
Apprentice.
different.
And I even saw like tattooers I looked up to in the crowd. And I like noticed them during my presentation, and then it made me nervous.
You're like, what's going on?
Yeah, like, oh, you probably know this, but
yeah, for sure.
But I think it's just gonna get more specific.
Yeah.
And I would like to see that, because my biggest concern is always like, is someone gonna feel like it's worth the money?
Yes.
Because people are charging a lot to go to these things.
Yes.
So, I don't want to be the guy that they're like, oh, that was a complete waste of $1.
I know, man. That
Right.
sucks. That feeling, the idea of it.
Yeah. So I think they should have like beginners or
Sure.
advanced, because what I was seeing was like one presentation was very entry level. It was amazing. It went over all the basics. But
I see what you're saying.
I
Like,
could see how maybe a more advanced tattooer would be like, I kind of knew everything.
yes, right.
But then I saw like someone do a presentation on like advanced 3D modeling. And I'm like, this is
cool.
too much for me.
Yeah, no.
But if you like the 3D modeling,
That's for you.
this is really valuable.
So they
information.
cover different ways, different paths of tattooing and art.
Yeah, everything.
And levels.
What I've seen,
Yeah.
I've seen everything from like, specific tattooing, color portrait design, neo-traditional, all that. Then I've seen photography presentations on how to take pictures. I've seen business management.
Mhm.
I've seen shop management. Obviously, I did the social media, and now I have one on sponsorship. I saw one on the programs, like the 3D modeling, different AI and stuff. They're hitting a lot of different categories.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I would do.
Right.
I got asked to do it.
Okay.
I said no.
No, you said no? You don't want to do it?
I don't know what I would do it on.
Yeah.
What the hell am I going to? Oh, this is how you do a Disney tattoo.
Dude,
I
people
don't-
would sign up for it.
They're like,
I'm
yeah,
telling you.
still, I'm doing it. I'm
Yeah.
Lilo and Stitch. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a weird thing for me. Like, we'll talk about that. But
Yeah.
it looked great, dude. I saw like the videos of you guys doing it, and I was like, man, that would have been cool. And I even told her, I kind of felt a little like, man, because I think when I was asked to do it, I would have been part of your group.
Oh man.
But I didn't know you were doing it though, man. And I was like, oh damn. I think if I would have known someone that was doing it like you, then I would have been more inclined to do it.
Yeah.
But I didn't know who was doing it, and I know the people who own the shop. They're awesome. I don't have like they're really nice.
Like Eden Symposium.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're
awesome.
cool. They're really nice, and it's just
You should do the next one.
I don't know what the hell I cheat. What am I gonna do?
I would do.
This is how you make
thing.
things shine. I don't know,
but,
dude. Like
people want to know that, and I get that because I was like, that's how I felt too. And like, oh, do people even want this? Like all that doubt and questioning. But what it came down to is like, I'm just gonna say yes and commit because I know if I give my word and I say yes, I'll have to give my best effort.
yes, for
and
sure.
it'll like force me to do it.
to do a good job.
And bro, there was a lot of time where I was like, I shouldn't have signed up for this. I'm stressed.
Oh my
You
god.
know,
For sure.
there was
Yeah.
that.
I think we all go through that.
Right.
idea,
I mean, it
that
started with like I said yes, I was traveling somewhere and I freaked the fuck out. But it was like 5 months from then.
Yeah.
I remember because I was on the plane on the way home, writing it in my notes, like how I was gonna do the presentation. I was freaking out about it.
Oh.
And the team's like, bro, you have 5 months to fucking do this.
So
Like,
when you
relax.
did it, bro, did you have like you said you wrote stuff down and then you said it was Danny that rewrote it?
So I did a PowerPoint
Okay.
and I wrote down all my ideas, like in my notes on my phone.
Okay.
So it'd be like, well, what do I want to talk about? It's like, oh, I want to talk about social media marketing. Okay, but then I have to talk about creating content.
Yeah.
Okay, but then I have to talk about the platforms. But then I have to talk about comments, likes, sourcing, engagement. But now I start to have categories. And then it's like, well, how do I organize this?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, where did it start? Okay, it started with creating content. Okay, maybe that should be the first category, and then I'll talk about making videos with the iPhone and hiring Danny. And then where does it go? Well, then it goes to the platforms. Okay,
Sure.
that'll be my next category. And then I think the last category was like sponsorship and monetization. But that's a little insight of how the process was for me.
Yeah.
And then I got that. I brought that to the team.
Mm-hmm.
They reminded me of some topics in those categories.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, that is really important. That should go in there. But where should it go? Okay, it goes after this because that's when we figured it out.
Yeah.
To try to put it in some kind of chronological order. But once I started working on it, it was almost like writing or like drawing.
Just
the rest came. Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. Like, cause like for me, I'm always doing stuff off the cuff. Like I don't.
Yeah, like you're like when you do a workshop.
I
or
just do
something.
it, man.
Yeah.
Like, cause I'm just trying to like.
Well, no,
Cause
you have like bullet points.
I do
like,
have an
things that
outline,
you,
like of things that I'm gonna say and do.
are wanting to discuss.
But like when I teach workshops here at the shop, we had a crazy overwhelming response for the other one. I had to tell people no, I couldn't because it was done.
Right.
And that was awesome feeling like, oh, people want, like you said, people want to know stuff.
Because I remember my guys came out here to do yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember. Yes.
Yeah.
Adrian.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember. And it's funny
Nick
because
Chang and a couple people.
because I didn't even notice them until I think it was when we first met. At some point, I ran into Adrian again.
Yeah.
And then, or it was, oh no, I think I saw a video and he was wearing the Man of Number 9 shirt. And I was
Right.
like, that's the kid. I remember him now.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy crap, these guys came out here to do my workshop.
Yeah.
Now it's different. The first day, I have a limited amount of students that I teach. It's 9 students. It's relevant. It's relative to the shop name, 9, Manor Number 9.
Yeah.
So Manor Number 9 comes from, I didn't know what the name of the shop. I was going through all these names and Kim's like, nah, that doesn't sound right. That's not good.
I was like, try again.
Yeah.
And then no shit, dude. I looked down at my tattoos. I have Batman over here that Steve Butcher did. And I have a 9 Inch Nails tattoo. And I was like, Wayne Manor,
Right.
9 Inch Nails, Manor Number 9.
Yeah.
So everything that I do at the shop it has to be related to the shop. So 9 students, They watched me tattoo for the
Oh,
first
yeah.
day.
It was more intimate.
More intimate.
Yeah.
I want them, like you said, I want them to walk away feeling like they spent their money in a good place.
Right.
And the end of that first day, let's say I'm doing a Batman tattoo. What I did is I told them, okay, now you got to compose something with this image, this theme. Go design something. Tomorrow when you get in here, I'm going to look at everybody's compositions and tell you where you fucked it all up.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And they came in and yeah, there were some good directions, but I went through everybody and I said, no, move that. Don't do this. Throw that out. Don't do that. And then they tattooed on the pound of flesh or the fake skin stuff. And then the whole day I'm there with them, don't do that. Try this instead. What color goes with that? How are we going to make that glow? And it's like, I think everybody's mind's different.
Yeah.
So to see different perspectives of tattooing and I was like, no, stop doing that. And I'll tell them because I'm very like direct.
Right.
I'm very assertive in the way I talk. So if I taught at that thing, bro, I had to start out with like some Jurassic Park line, like, hold on to your butts.
Right.
Because it would be like,
Well, yeah. So that was kind of different for me too, because you're on a stage. And You're just
yes.
talking. It's not as
Oh, it's not
like,
hands-on.
it's not a workshop.
Oh, okay.
Right. So some artists did have that approach, like Edit Paints did hers, and I liked hers a lot. She kind of talked for like 20, 30 minutes
Mhm.
about her design process. And then she just did a tattoo live in front of everyone
okay.
and talked about it, which was really cool.
That's probably what
You
I
know?
would do.
Yeah.
I'd like to do that.
And they had a great like overhead camera and you could really see it. And then she would like take questions as she's tattooing.
Yeah.
I was like, God damn, I don't want to tattoo in front of all these people.
Yeah.
But she like crushed it. And same thing with her husband, Abiu, he crushed it. His tattoo was a little longer though.
Sure.
So I think he didn't finish it in the presentation, but then finished it on the sideline after. They were kind of doing like
okay.
a couple thing. But it was really interesting to see how everyone did it. Some like Squires it was PowerPoint, but it was more like a movie because he did all this animation.
Mhm.
So every time he clicked the button, animation would go on, and it was really cool. But to see, when I knew that I signed up for it, I started attending a lot of other seminars
Oh, good.
to see like what people were really doing. Because honestly, I'd never really been to one,
Yeah.
and seeing the approach of other people's and what I like and what I didn't like or what I
Yeah.
could relate to. So that was very helpful in development.
That's good, man. It looked cool.
Yeah.
It looked like you guys had a lot of fun. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. It goes back to me being like kind of recluse. Like I don't.
Yeah. I think you should 100% do it. Yeah.
And if you do that again, I'll do it. But
I'm
I
doing
got
the next one.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
When?
I think it's in December.
Hell no. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll reach out to them and say, hey, I heard John's doing this.
Yo, but it's definitely like, I'm like, you should just say no. And I say yes. And I'm like, fuck, now I have to figure it out.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, right? Like you're months away and like, okay,
Yeah.
we're doing this, but
Yeah, I got to tell you though, it was like one of the most rewarding things I've done in tattooing in a while.
mhm.
Yeah. Because it's like, and I'm sure it's like this for you. Like we've already been through so many milestones.
Yeah.
It's not like it was. Like the first couple of years, I was nervous, anxious, excited about everything. It's just not quite like that anymore.
Yeah.
You
It's
know?
not. It's not, dude.
It's we've gotten used to it. We've gotten used to everything that comes with it, and like we're in our style. There's already the expectation of us
Yeah.
doing amazing tattoos. People are used to it, whatever.
Yes, dude.
Bro, everything about this felt like the first year of tattooing. Like I
Damn.
was nervous, I was excited, I was happy to see everyone. Like the whole day, I was like, "Fuck, my presentation's in 3 hours," and you start questioning, and you're looking at everything, and even in the development process, I'm paying attention to everything, and I'm analyzing it, and I got to feel like a new tattooer again.
How long did you speak for?
2 hours.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
I usually
You
run
can
it like
do it.
6
So
hours.
how many days was it?
So it was 2 days,
Okay.
and each presentation was 2 hours.
Okay, that's not.
Okay.
That's easy.
Yeah.
I could do that all day.
Yeah. See?
Doing it right now.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. I don't know. Now that I know you're doing it, maybe I'll reach out to them and say, hey,
Yeah.
I'll reconsider only because he's doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, you should.
We talked, but
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds awesome. And teaching, sometimes I feel like I have no business doing it,
I
but I
understand.
do enjoy it. I do
Right.
enjoy it. I think the first seminar we did here was with Ben K
hmm
and a
Yeah.
DBK. He's one of my
Yeah.
favorite tattooers in the industry, man. I love that guy. I did a seminar, me and him both here, and it's funny because we taught basically color, like how we do our stuff, and we were completely opposite.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And we started like kind of bickering back and forth sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, no, what are you talking about? And it was like,
yeah.
but the people were like, yeah, this is awesome. Like, this is cool.
Dude, I think everyone, or I've heard that from a lot of people saying like, I don't know if I have any business teaching, but I think if you're just like sharing your experience,
That's it. That's really it.
like you don't have to ever feel bad about that.
Yeah.
Because you're not saying like, this is the way, you're just saying, this is the way I did it.
You're
And then it
teaching
got
through
me
experience.
these results.
Yeah.
And if you would like these results, this is my experience achieving those results.
I think if
How
I
can
did
you
it, bro,
argue with that?
I want to be on stage and like everything black.
Yeah.
Then I have like Tinkerbell or something like go over.
Dude, that would be fucking so
You
good.
imagine, dude? And have like this light come up from behind me because that's what I would teach is like one thing that I really stress on all the guys that work here, especially when it comes to color, is color harmony. If like I try and portray it in my work where all the colors, even if they're complete, something you would never think would work, it
Yeah.
works. And I try and make that a thing. So maybe I'll talk to them. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right. So check this out, man. I think we've covered pretty much everything I want to talk to you about because I
Sure.
don't want to run through everything. Then when I see you again, we don't have nothing to talk about.
Right.
I do end the podcast with a question.
Yeah.
And I started out the same way. You guys know that watch it. I have a very unhealthy obsession with zombies.
Okay.
So the question I ask everybody is, because I have this crazy thing with zombies, I like hearing everybody's response because I think an instinct of survival is different with everyone.
Yeah.
So right now, zombies are at the door
Right.
at the studio right now. What are
Yeah.
the 5 things you have on you?
The 5 things I have on me.
So mine is
You
a
can choose any 5
So
things.
mine is
It
a
just has to be
backpack?
realistic.
okay.
backpack, a katana. Yes, I have a real one, so I can claim that now
Okay.
because I got it in Japan. A flint rod, a purification straw, and a pistol.
Ooh, that's pretty good. Yeah, the purification straw. Definitely
See,
makes
the
sense.
second we say that one, people always are like, "Oh, damn, that's a good one."
Right, because you'd want to worry about water, food,
Mhm.
obviously, like air, and then like shelter, right,
Mhm.
and being able to provide for yourself. So I would probably have. I mean, I feel like maybe like a bow and arrow, or
Okay, so here's the thing with weapons.
what?
If you have a gun, you only get 1 magazine.
Okay,
If you have bow and arrow, you get one little stock of the arrows.
that's
Let's
okay
say
though, because you
12
can
arrows.
retrieve them maybe.
You can.
know?
See, that's a good one. Okay, so a bow and arrow.
But I don't know if I would like necessarily use it for zombie
Or like
killing or
food.
more like hunting, you know?
Yeah.
But then are the animals contaminated?
I was just gonna say that.
In the movies, they never are, except for 28 Days Later. They are. I'm very, bro. Don't start with me.
Yeah.
I'm very extended, like knowledge in this stuff
Right. I mean, yeah, backpack's pretty key. Why backpack for you though?
because I'm just gonna find stuff and put it in there.
Yeah.
And even with my other 5 things, like 3 of them I could put in the backpack if I need to.
Yeah.
The knife, hell no, I'm running around with that thing like a samurai, bro.
Yeah. And I mean, that's good because there's no like reloading or ammo.
Nothing. The problem with
right.
the samurai sword is if you're in tight quarters, you're not swinging that.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
You have to like poke real quick.
Yeah, that you did just uppercut everything like that.
Yeah.
So what are your things?
I like the sword, but we'll say bow and arrow. just
Bow and
to
arrow.
change it up
That's
for
a good one. We
the
haven't had
weapon.
that one yet.
Something to start fires, whatever it might be.
Yeah, like a flint
Like
rod.
a flint
Yeah.
rod.
Yeah, that's the best.
We're here in California.
Right here, right now.
Okay, so I don't need like winter clothes or sleeping
No, it's
bag
hot
or
as hell.
anything. Yeah. Yeah, some kind of water purifier. I actually like have this for forget what it's called, but it's just one of those bottles with the filter in it.
Mhm.
Yo.
Where you can
Like
like,
a water bottle.
Oh yes, I've seen those.
yeah, you can like grab. You could
Perfect.
You could probably pee in it.
That would
Yeah.
actually be probably preferred because
I like that one better. I'm not gonna change mine because I've stood strong with this list.
Yeah.
But that one is really good because I had just barely seen these bottles with the filters. in
That's
it.
like a newer development.
Yeah.
That's new, but that's really good.
Okay.
Okay, so the bottle, flint rod,
right.
bow and arrow.
Bow and arrow. I mean a backpack, right? Because you have to.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
gonna
gonna
walk
help
around
you.
with this.
Yeah.
Grocery
Like
list.
cans of food or whatever.
All right, you got one
Yeah.
more.
So we'll say like a nice backpack. All right, so now I can kill stuff, I can hunt, I can create fires, I can cook it, I can eat, my water's taken care of. Probably, I'd probably double up on the weapon and tool and use an axe.
Oh,
I'd probably
Okay.
have an
That's a good
axe in there. Definitely for defense,
Mhm.
but also like if I want to go out in the woods and just chill out there, maybe for a little bit. And then, is that all? Is that
that's
5?
it. That's your 5.
Yeah, that's what I would go with.
That's a good list.
That's
Yeah.
a good list.
You're very hands on.
right.
Like for me, I said the pistol only because like you see the movies and play the games and you get in that tight situation, you're gonna have to do something.
Well, I think
but
the goal would be
to stay away.
maybe get in the middle of nowhere
Yeah,
and
definitely.
be like able to sustain yourself.
Yes.
And that would be like building shelter. It would be, setting up some kind of perimeter. It'd
Mm.
probably be like hunting, fishing, cooking, like that kind of stuff.
Like camping forever.
camping forever. Yeah.
Can you imagine how like rigged it would look if all this shit's happening and the social media is still up? This is normal.
Right. I'm out here at my friend's camp,
Just hanging out.
Right.
Stay away from 50.
Day 132 of the
Dude,
zombie
and then like million views. Fuck yeah. Earning the bonuses. Hell yeah.
There definitely be people like
Oh,
risking
yeah,
danger
bro.
for zombies for content.
Yes.
And getting views. Going
Totally.
live. We're gonna go live in the zombie headquarters.
Well, we're totally looking over the fact that it's still active, so we're all being put through a fucking test.
right.
It's like Hunger Games or something.
Right.
Very Hunger Games.
Like where they just throw you into it
Yeah.
and you got to work your way out.
hmm Good list.
Thank you, sir.
It was good talking to you, man.
You
I
as
really
well.
enjoy like seeing you and hanging out with you.
Yeah, man. It's always good to see, really the whole family.
Yeah,
With you guys. And I appreciate you so much having me on here.
of course.
It's always good to talk. We share a lot of the same views.
We
so
do.
I'm always excited to talk
We
to
do.
you because I'm like, yeah, he'll agree with this.
Yeah. And you're always invited here, man. If you ever want to guest star, just come say hi, hang out,
Yeah.
whatever. You're always welcome here, man. So, and hopefully I'll be out in Florida soon.
Yeah.
I know we've been talking about wanting to go. It's just this year's really wore us down, so we'll get there eventually.
Yeah, bro. We'll wait till things kind of settle. Try to hit it next
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, exactly. That sounds
Right.
good.
We'll
But-
plan it after we do the symposium together.
Yes. See, we're putting it out there already. Yeah, I'm totally like I'll hit them up
Hell yeah.
and I'll see what they say. But yeah, dude, it's good talking to you. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for talking to us. That's it, man.
Awesome.
Until next time.
Thanks, dude.
Thanks, John.